So, good morning and welcome back to Anthony Parshall's YouTube channel. I'm indeed Anthony Parshall. And today, I suppose we will talk about the path, the progression from the progression towards enlightenment. There are, of course, certain things that one can do to make progress on the path. One thing is that the path itself, however it may be described, is something that one has to discover for oneself, and one may not realize until after one has attained enlightenment that one has been walking a path. Because, say, one is seeking enlightenment intensely, in the manner of Vajrayana Buddhism. One encounters all sorts of things, but one doesn't find quite solid ground. It's only after the attainment of enlightenment that the ground becomes entirely apparent. You see that you have been on a path, that there's something coherent about the search for enlightenment. So, naturally, such things as meditation and study can be helpful. Meditation being, in many ways, the expression of the desire or urge for enlightenment. So, when one meditates, one is sort of holding or expressing one's seeking energy, but is also trying to let oneself be as one is. Let the body and the thoughts and all of that just to be. So, while one is on the path, one doesn't quite know whether or not there is ground. There is something that is real in the sense that has to do with the idea of the way, or the various truths that are expounded by various religions. So one perseveres. One says, one commits oneself to the search for enlightenment, and it can be all very sort of odd and frenetic in a certain sense. But if you keep in mind the notion that, first of all, enlightenment is possible, and second of all, that the individual can achieve it, then one will proceed as if enlightenment is a distinct possibility. But basically, until one sort of crosses the bridge, one might say, to enlightenment, one isn't sure when one is going to become enlightened. One thinks of the many ideas and theories and pointers and so forth offered by teachers to be perhaps true. You think you may think one may think that one is um, getting and applying good dharma or teachings of the truth, and so basically, what happens on the path is that one realizes certain truths that get kind of stuck in one's consciousness, so that one has to kind of chase after them to find out, are they really true? And so one is basically watching one's consciousness in meditation to see if these ideas hold up. And once one crosses the bridge to enlightenment, one realizes that these teachings have a certain application to reality as it is. Enlightenment being basically the apperception of reality as it is. In most cases, I think especially if one is involved in Vajrayana Buddhism, there's nothing really that one can apply to one's search for enlightenment in the sense of a definite understanding of this or that applies whether or not one has crossed the bridge to enlightenment. So all of this before enlightenment is to lead you over that final hurdle to get to enlightenment. So there's nothing, therefore, that is found to be definitely true. I mean, maybe certain teachings of the Buddha can be apprehended by the seeker before they become enlightened as being true, because they are so incisive. But for the most part, one is like in a dark room, and one sees, somewhat like Plato's cave, the shadows on the wall, and these being the ideas and so forth that pertain to truth that one comes along on the path, and one says, yes, that seems true, and then one day, for whatever reason, the light comes flooding in, and you see that all of this that you've been taught and have understood is merely a preparation for the apperception of the truth of enlightenment. So then after enlightenment, it becomes quite intriguing to try to examine the revelation of enlightenment by applying certain ideas and laws to it, just in the way that ideas and laws are appropriate in approaching life in general, in the secular life, the life that hasn't yet attained enlightenment. So it is actually quite a stark difference being not enlightened and then being enlightened, because until one has the apperception of the truth that is enlightenment, one may seem to certain things may seem to make sense, but you can't verify them because there's too much mind stuff generally that is getting in the way of the of the perceiver. In the case of enlightenment, of the experience of awareness. So, after one crosses that bridge to enlightenment, one can say to oneself, well, okay, now I see how reality really is, as an insubstantial dream. And doesn't mean that one can't apply much of what one has learned along the path before crossing the bridge to enlightenment. It just means that you've had a sort of epiphany or revelation or instant illumination, I think they might call it, that shows you the truth about reality. Then, of course, just like, say, a scientist observes some molecule or something, and sees how it works. That understanding gained by seeing how particles interact, or what waves or whatever, is itself a pointer towards further breaking down of the process of physical reality in physics. When one particular idea is learned, it can be next applied to the next idea. So we look at reality from the point of view of enlightenment. We say, well, we could talk about the law of karma or whatever it is. There's certain. The interesting thing is that even though it's an insubstantial dream, there are still certain laws and parameters and so forth that govern it. It's like you want a snow globe or something, and you go and you go on a long journey to find the right place to buy a snow globe. The snow globe being itself representing enlightenment, and then you look at the snow globe and you say, yes, this is a snow globe, and now I know what a snow globe is. Once you get to enlightenment, you're perceiving reality as it really is. However, the life process continues pretty much the same. You just have a sort of innate knowing of what reality really is. Okay, thank you for watching.